In this video, I'm going to be looking at the best projects on Sui and the ones that I believe are the best leverage bets on Sui and will outperform the Sui token this cycle. So first, we're going to start with Deepbook Protocol. So what is Deepbook? It's the essential DeFi infrastructure and the liquidity layer for Sui. So the idea here is that as more DeFi apps integrate with Deepbook liquidity layer, the protocol accrues value and becomes more valuable. And this would potentially outpace the Sui's native token. Basically, its growth is directly tied to trading activity. So by buying the Deepbook token, you're basically betting on the Sui blockchain and people trading on the Sui blockchain. So if we look at this chart, we can see it's gone up quite a bit since November, but it's currently down over 50%, around 50%. And the chart between Deepbook and Sui really explains why I believe this token outperforms this cycle. As we can see, since October, it's been outperforming Sui, right? So I believe it's a good leverage play on the Sui ecosystem. In addition, if we look at the Sui ecosystem on CoinGecko, we can see that Deepbook is actually the highest market cap project on Sui, excluding stablecoins, of course. So if people are looking for leverage bets on Sui, they'll likely just pick the leading one, which is Deepbook. And it's actually the leading one by quite a lot, right? We're excluding stablecoins and wrapped Bitcoin. So the next one is Cetus, which is 87 million, while Deepbook is at 400 million, right? So this chart really explains why I think Deepbook outperforms Sui, as well as the narrative just being a bet on increased trading activity. So if you're bullish on the Sui ecosystem, it makes sense to hold Deepbook token. The next project is Cetus, right? I just mentioned Cetus in this chart, on this website, as it's the second largest protocol on the Sui ecosystem. And the reason I believe this protocol performs well is because it's the top DEX on the ecosystem, right? The biggest decentralized exchange. It's the go-to platform for swaps on Sui. And a good comparison here for Cetus is with Uniswap last cycle, right? So Uniswap was the leading DEX on Ethereum, and last cycle it did very well. From the lows, it went up, right, 2,000%. And Cetus may do something similar because Cetus is the leading DEX on Sui. So if you believe that Sui this cycle, something similar can happen to Ethereum last cycle, where Sui just performs very well, a good leverage bet on Sui would be the top DEX, which is Cetus, currently down quite a bit. So I think it's a good time to get in, right? Down 73%. So if you're looking for entry, this could be the time to get in. Another comparison is with Solana, with Radium. So Radium is the top decentralized exchange on Solana. And last cycle, it went to $16. So typically the largest DEX on the ecosystem is a good leverage play if you're bullish on the ecosystem. So that's why I think that Cetus protocol does very well, as well as it being the second largest in terms of market cap. So when people try to find good leverage bets on the Sui ecosystem, they'll be looking for some of these top projects, and Cetus and Deepbook clearly stand out as having some of the best projects. So if Uniswap on Ethereum is able to go to $22 billion market cap, it makes sense that the top DeFi on the top DEX on Sui can go to something much higher than 86 million I don't know what exact targets, but maybe 2 billion, 3 billion will already be like over 30x from these prices. So overall, I think there's a lot of upside for CEDAS protocol. Next, we'll move on to the last bet on the SUI ecosystem. And this is the number one meme coin on SUI, which is, I believe, Lofi. And why is the number one meme coin on SUI a good play? Well, because if we look at what SHIB did on ETH, right? A lot of people came into ETH last cycle and a lot of them ended up buying Shiba Inu, and because it was the number one coin on Ethereum, number one meme coin on Ethereum. And I think we all know how well it performed last cycle, but just there's also many similar examples. For example, if we look at the top meme coins on a lot of chains, so the examples I have here are Bonk, Snack, Brett, Dog, and Baby Doge. So we can see that Bonk is the number one meme coin on Solana, and it's at 1.3 billion. Others such as Brett, number one on Base, Snack, number one on Cardano. We have Dog, number one on Bitcoin, and then Baby Dogecoin, number one on Binance Smart Chain. So we can see how the number one meme coins on certain chains do very well. So that's why finding the number one meme coin on SUI seems like a good play. And if we look at the top projects on SUI, we see that there's two leading meme coins on the SUI ecosystem. There's Sudang and Lofi. And for me, this is obviously a subjective opinion because meme coins are less objective than DeFi, but I believe Lofi is much better of a meme coin than Sudang. And this is for a few reasons. First of all, the Lofi team, I believe, is much better. They're working on many more partnerships. They're always working with other people. They have great artwork, and I see the community is very strong. And something like Sudang, I believe, is less strong as it's from the Mudang animal meme, and they just put on a Sui logo to it. It seems very unoriginal. It doesn't seem as strong of a meme coin. And I believe that something like Lofi kind of can be the mascot of the Sui chain, right? It feels much more natural for something like a Lofi the Yeti to be the main character and the representative of the Sui blockchain. Let's look at some of the charts. So is it a good time to buy Lofi? Right, you can see this chart is down a lot, right? This chart is down 86% from the highs. And obviously this is a risky play, right? This thing can go maybe potentially to zero, potentially, to a couple $1 billion of market cap. So this is obviously something that you should be playing with higher risk. But the Sudang chart also doesn't look too good either. So, I mean, both of them have gotten hit quite hard. Right, this one's maybe down even more. Or actually a bit less, but they're both down a ton. So finding the top meme coins on Sui now while the attention and the hype is not there, I think it's crucial. And I believe that if you find some of these winning meme coins on Sui, they'll outperform the Sui token. So I believe that all of these three projects are well positioned to outperform Sui because they're some of the best projects on Sui, right? So just from a perspective of someone investing in the Sui ecosystem, they'll already have the Sui token because they're bullish on the ecosystem. And as we discussed, they'll look for the biggest DeFi products as leverage bets on Sui. And then meme coins, I believe, are going to be huge this cycle. So I believe that it makes sense for someone to try to own the top meme coin on Sui. And for me, it's just a clear winner that it's Lofi, right? I mean, that's just my opinion. So this is not financial advice. But yeah, that's what I believe will outperform this cycle. Thanks for watching.